Tropical Storm Harvey is a lead once again, hammering the Gulf Coast after making landfall for a second time.
We never, in the 39 years we've lived here, ever had water in our house.
I mean, it was just rain like you never seen. And I mean, it just got harder and harder and longer and longer.
It was kind of shocking seeing all that water.
I think almost anyone who had a boat was out.
Without guys like Moose, I don't think it could have been possible to save that many people.
What do we call it?
We call it a monster.
We call it a monster truck.
It's Texas. That's up around here, you know, that's kind of who can get their truck the biggest, who can get the biggest mud tires, biggest lift kit.
I see these guys jack them up and put these big wheels on them. And I told my wife, I says, who in his right mind would want to have one of these trucks that you have to fight to get in all the time?
Truck's a 1988 V30 Chevrolet square body.
It's the all-American look. You know, it's just really the last real truck, in my opinion.
That's Moose's trophy. It's his baby. I guess he can look at stuff and figure it out. And, you know, a whole lot of it boils down to he's not scared to jump into anything.
Well, I started out working on cars, I guess, when I was probably 13 years old. You know, I'd grow up seeing my dad working on cars and trucks and in the driveway, and I'd ask him, Dad, how'd you know how to do that? And he'd say, son, I didn't. I had to figure it out.
Pretty much anything that guy puts his eye on is, he can fix it, you know?
I'd say the truck probably puts around 600 horse to the ground.
Most people hear the turbo before they see the truck. And up until this last storm, she hardly ever left the shop.
Port Arthur, Texas is inundated as Harvey made landfall and lingered overnight. Search and rescue operations were suspended at nightfall because the conditions were simply too dangerous.
911 wasn't answering the phones. Coast Guard was doing roof rescues in deep, deep Port Arthur. I mean, no one was coming for our neighborhood.
You had a certain amount of time that we were going to be able to get to them without having to get to them by boat. Our fire trucks couldn't handle that deep of water.
Every fire truck was already drowned out. Hundreds of 911 calls were coming in where the people were already needed evacuating.
Folks are on social media simply begging for help.
And I knew that I had the ability, sitting here in the shop, to go do what I needed to do.
And then he texted me, I don't know, 8 o'clock that night, 9 o'clock that night, and said that somebody needed help, and, you know, I wasn't gonna let him go by himself.
It's a friend of my wife's. Her daughter just had a newborn. I think it's a week or two old.
All of us were trapped at this point inside. Nobody's going anywhere. And I thought, there is no way that I can stay here with a 2-week-old baby. And her, she, you know, I mean, she was a nervous wreck.
So then me and my mom kind of started to panic, and I was kind of ready to leave, and it was kind of like we couldn't leave because it was just the storm was too bad. We couldn't get her out.
So I got on Facebook because, you know, that's what everybody does. And I'm like, I'm stuck here with a 2-week-old baby. How am I going to get out of here? And a few minutes later, Brandon's like, I'll come get you. Just get ready, I'll come get you.
There were waves breaking over the road. There was water coming over the hood. Lightning was hitting telephone poles right next to the truck. Boats everywhere.
It kind of snowballed after that. Once I got them out and word got around that I was moving people to higher ground, it was one call after another, message after another.
Just to have that text saying, someone's gonna come get you, it's okay. We know you're there, we're coming, just wait.
When we looked out the window, Moose pulled in the driveway with that big white truck of his.
Oh my gosh, it was like you felt like we were safe. I was safe.
Majority of the night was Brandon driving, and I would jump out of the truck and, you know, help women and children and men, whatever, up the ladder into the bed of the truck, and then put the ladder in, close the tailgate, get in and keep going.
They had it down to a science. Moose would pull in, he'd jump out, and he'd open the door up, and we'd start trying to climb in. So evidently they'd saved a lot of people that night.
And there was several times I jumped out of the truck that was over my head. And, you know, and we was in people's driveways, and I'd jump out of the truck and it was over my head. So the water was over. The water be over my head.
He came through with that giant truck. It was a godsend.
I guess we backed out of the shop about 9:30 that night, and we moved people until about 5 o'clock the next morning. I say we moved roughly 120 people.
We actually picked up an elderly couple that night, and you know, the guy flat out told us, "I've always hated these trucks."
He wasn't happy about climbing in the truck. Once he got in the truck, he told his wife, he says, "I'm always cussing you about seeing these trucks on the road."
Well, I didn't cuss, but I'd make funny jokes about them.
We got him in and got him out, and he was happy to put his feet on some dry ground, that's for sure.
You'll never hear another joke from me out of that, because, I mean, they did, like I said, they were angels. They saved a lot of people.
It was pretty, I guess, kind of so ballsy. It was pretty ballsy. A lot of people probably wouldn't have done that.
I'm just one of hundreds of thousands of people that helped. That's the part of Texas that gets off their ass and makes things happen.
This area has a lot of good old boys. That's the thing. With a flood, you need guys out there like that.
It takes that type of guy that just doesn't think about it and go out there and help someone. I mean, it's in your heart. You got to go out there and, you know, really care. And, you know, I think it's kind of a Texas thing altogether, but it's really, really strong in our area.
I think it is the Texas, not so much the pride, but the independent spirit.
I'm thankful that he didn't think twice to say, "I'm on my way, I'll come get you." And if I called him today, right now, it would be the same. He has a servant's heart, that's for sure.
It's all worth it, you know? It's all worth it. Truck can be fixed, like I said. You can't replace a person.